want to say, but like, I'm going to choose to fight them before I go against my values. Like, I don't manipulate or rip people off. Like, fuck that. Anyone that says to do that, you just swift headbutt and make them eat those words. But that's one of the funny things, especially like that I observed working in sales, is like there's no such thing as ethics. Like, your ethics encompass what you're willing to justify to yourself. So like, there's no like universal ethics. It's just some people are willing to skew the data more favorably, towards their desired outcome, and they're willing to manipulate the situation, lie, cheat, steal, to get what they want to get. And it's so funny because like when I got into sales, like, I wanted to be the best. So like, I spent 2 or 3 years just studying sales and psychology to understand like human behavior and understand people's thought processes. And like, yeah, it's just so sad to see, because it's so easy. If I lie, cheat and steal, I can be successful overnight. That's how majority of not the successful people, but majority of people that get successful quick, in the terms of like, they don't put in the hard work, typically they either lie, cheat or steal to get where they are. So you got to be aware of those people, because they fake competency, and that's what we look for, especially in business and in life, is we're all looking for competent people to listen to, that'll give us either new information, or that might give us new perspective and things like that. But the problem is there's so many fucking idiots that are full of shit. And mate, do I hate them? Because they just like, and it's not like, yeah, there are some predatory people that, look to manipulate and mislead people, to get advantage out of them. But to the majority of them, it's because they learn a little bit, and then they just close their mind off to any other possibility or alternative. And it's like, mate, you sound like a donkey. So like, for example, like with, like when we think about God and stuff like that, by default, every religion is correct in their assumption of God. But the downfall is, where they're all wrong, is they assume they understand the form of a God. So it's like, yeah, by default you're right, but you're still a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? Like, we try to embody our deity as being someone of likeness to us, but like, if there is a God, God is life, everything. God is the universe. God is, the biggest and the smallest of things. So like, there is no one form. God would be all forms, simultaneously and individually. Like, and that's the funny thing, is throughout our history, like if you look back into our history, like we haven't gone 10 years without a war or a conflict. And majority of these wars and conflicts have been justified by religious or like, pretty much religious beliefs about one religion being superior to another, one belief being superior to another, one race, one culture, like, and it's so funny because it's all fundamentally based around some dickheads getting into power. and then fucking misleading everyone, and then, you know, because we've been going along with it for so long, no one really questions it. Like, don't get me wrong, when I was a teenager, mate, from when I was 5 until when I was like 22, I was obsessed with the military. I was going to the military, and I was going into the infantry, and I was just going to kill everyone that wasn't Australian or wasn't in any alliance with Australia. That was my goal in life, because of the conditioning from the movies and the TV, and, you know, the different, you know, sort of, not mentors, but figures I looked up to. Like, I just wanted to go to Afghanistan or Iraq. Like, I prayed for war to break out. I prayed to get in. And I just wanted to go and just kill them because they were different. Because all I was ever taught from movies, from TV, was when people are different to you. And especially, like, I went to Catholic schools and grew up, you know, going to Catholic schools and having to put up with religion. But, like, when you're ingrained for so long about other people being different, and you should fear and hate different people, because this is like, look at every war, look at every conflict, look at every division in life. People get in and they point out things about the opposite side that are derived to cause fear. And with some of the population, fear causes obedience. With other portions of the population, fear breeds hatred and anger. Like, look, I'm not saying 9/11 was an inside job, but if you look at recruitment numbers, pre-9/11, they were quite low. 9/11 hits, everyone's signing up to go and fight the enemy. The thing is that, like, in life, we're being manipulated. Well, this is at least what I came to find, is that we're being manipulated into being categorized as just being specific types of people. And that's what's so good about Hollywood, is it's easy to categorize people and to box them. The same with all these social media platforms, because we can just give you the content that you like, and we'll just reinforce your beliefs. And it's really important, because, like, throughout my life, like, I've been very into psychology and the mind, and, you know, I learned at an early age through, you know, experimenting with myself about behavioral conditioning. So using specific behavioral markers or cues over a long period of time to condition new behavior. So basically, you know, what I used to do is I used to listen to specific music when I would train. So because I listened to specific music when I would train, every time I put that music on, my brain would start firing off as if I'd started training. So I would be instantly brought into the mood. But also with sleep, I can listen to specific tones or specific, you know, like I used to listen to theoretical physics to go to sleep, just because I always wanted to be learning. And I find theoretical physics fascinating, because theoretically anything is possible, and it's like, how can you bring it from your mind into reality? But you know, we got to understand that, you know, the information and the environmental stimuli that we surround ourselves with will, to some degree, condition our thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors. So you just have to be aware of this, because while for the most part it's not a bad thing, so it could be like, you know, if you wanted to condition someone's behavior, like let's say a spouse, and you wanted, you know, let's say you wanted your boyfriend to wash up the dishes more often. Like, what you would do is you would condition in positive responses to them taking that action. So you would position the offer of like, hey, do you mind doing the dishes, as like, hey, if you could get the dishes done, like when you're finished, come into the bedroom and there'll be something, a surprise or something like that. Like you put the dishes as an obstacle to the desired outcome that they want, and they have to go through that to receive it, rather than just putting it as a challenge or an obstacle that they now have to go and do. So it's in understanding that, because then we can use different kinds of stimuli. So for example, you condition in the behavior of, at a specific time you present that offer, and you make it so that the likelihood of that offer being accepted, whatever it may be, is quite high. Because you want something from them, so you've got to give something in return. And it doesn't have to be like, like so many people treat it as it has to be 50-50, equal. No, it's like every time I want something for you, the path of least resistance is if I give you something that you find valuable, well, of course you're going to do what I want you to do. Like if I position that as being required to get this. So, like, what we're able to do is then when we've built in the habit of, let's say, every night or something like that, you wait about 2 weeks for the habit to sort of be ingrained, the behavior, and then what you do is you start removing that conversation, and then every time the action is taken, you positively reinforce it. Okay, and what this does is they don't understand, but every time they take this action, you have a positive surprise for them. So they'll start to want a new positive surprise. They'll want to, they'll want that, not engagement, but they'll want that dopamine rush, that release. So, that's one way that you can condition in, and it is a positive thing. But the other thing is it's also negative in the aspects of if you just sit on Netflix or something like that and binge watch, let's say Game of Thrones, well, yeah, you're going to feel a whole lot more negative. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Game of Thrones, but you'll be exposing yourself to, snipiness, bitchiness, those remarks, like negative behaviors, infidelity, different things like that. Like me personally, that's one of the big things that I don't like, is how infidelity is so promoted in society. I think it's fucking ridiculous. Because I don't want to go and chuck on the TV and just watch cunts having sex. If I want to watch that, I'll go and watch fucking porn. If I watch a movie, I want to see connection. That's one of the beautiful things about watching old movies from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, is you see the progression of, it progressed to just being crude, but in the earlier years, they actually invested into the story. They got you engaged. They drew out every experience so that you got to feel it with the person. And now it's just about who can be as sleazy and sexy as possible. It's fucking stupid. It's so stupid. It's why I haven't been on Instagram in years. It's why I haven't been on watching TV and stuff. Don't get me wrong. When I was a teenager, when I was, masturbating 18, 20 times a day, I used to love that aspect of society. But the problem is it's crude. And it's so funny how it's take for example, OnlyFans and that shit. Seriously. What the fuck has gone on in society? Okay, why, as a man, would you pay to be a fucking member of a fucking girl who you're not going to sleep with just so you can see her naked. That is the most bitch-ass fucking pathetic shit I have ever heard. Like, what are you, fucking betas? Like, what is the point to seeing a girl naked if you're not going to fuck her? What is the point? What, so you can fucking bait to her and then brag about baiting to her? Like, seriously. And, like, don't get me wrong, many guys are delusional in thinking that they can get that girl. But why would you want a girl who wants so much attention from other dudes? Like, do you want to constantly have other dudes hitting on your girlfriend, and if the offer is good, she may take it up? No, not for me. Fuck that noise. Like, I don't see the interest in it. Like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, if you like doing cam things, like, don't get me wrong, when I was 18, 19, I wanted to be a porn star until I learned how much men make out of it. And I didn't want to go into gay porn. Even though you can make more money, I'm not, like, I couldn't do gay porn. It's not something that I get into. So, like, but that's the thing, like, I used to want to be, like, a male escort and and it wasn't because, like, I had a big ego, but it's because, like, sex meant nothing to me. Like, sex was like a sport. Like, all I ever wanted to do when I was younger, like, my entire life revolved around sex. Every decision I made. Like, I'm pretty sure I had an addiction to sex. Like, and that's the funny thing, is I didn't care who it was with because I was there. You know what I mean? Like, I just cared because I was having sex. Like, I didn't give a fuck who with. Like, yeah, so, like, don't get me wrong. Like, you know, I'm not speaking on this stuff because, like, I have no idea about it. Like, I used to want to be in that space. If OnlyFans was a thing when I was, like, 18, I would have been on it. Like, that was just my ambition. Because, like, you know, I just thought it was fun to build up the stamina to be able to fuck for, like, 4 hours. I think that's fun. You know what I mean? But the thing with sex, well, not even sex, but, like, the thing with porn is it's so fucking fake and over-exaggerated. Like, do you realise if it was real connection and real people having sex, it'd be fucking more kinky. But everyone's fucking trying to be the fucking best at sex. And they're just like, it's just fucking not believable. Like, when they're like, and the girls are so noisy, it's like, I don't understand it. Like, I don't understand if it's a requirement because the dudes think that, like, more dudes like a girl that screams like a donkey. But, like, personally, if a girl's quiet and making, like, soft sounds, that is a much bigger turn on as a dude. Like, you know, like, yeah, fucking, like, who wants to be doing that? Imagine that. You're in, like, your parents for Christmas, and you go to have some fun at, like, you know, after dark, and then your parents, all they hear is, ah, ah. Like, how fucking ridiculous. But yeah, I don't know. That's why God gave us hands to cover their mouths. No, but, like, you know, it's one of those things where I just personally don't get. Who the fuck wants to be on OnlyFans? Like, who thinks that's cool? Like, I don't get it. Like, you know, all I do is go onto a porn site and I can get everything for free because there's other dudes that go out and find it and post it. Like, why would I need to be on OnlyFans? To give you money so that you may one day think to fuck me? Like, who thinks like this? What a beta. Like, seriously. Like, I don't understand that. Like, I've always just had a belief that, like, if I can't have something, I don't want something. I only go after what I can have. You know, I don't really care. Like, when I was younger, like, man, I used to care so much about what other people thought of me. I was so concerned about it. Like, I only dated people I thought other people would think was attractive. So, like, I got into these fucking long-term relationships. Well, not even when I was younger, but, like, I would only date people, and the ones that I liked, I would never introduce to anyone I knew. Because, like, it was so funny. Like, and like, I can still remember being like that and just like so concerned with what other people thought about what I wanted. Because it doesn't fucking matter. Like, who the fuck cares? But everyone gets so up their ass and tries to compete and fucking outdo each other. Like, literally, the only girls I dated were girls that I thought would look good beside me, like, you know, in corporate events and shit like that would, you know, have a specific position, like, you know, that were very specific types. One of my types when I was younger was they had to hate me, who I was as a person. Yeah, that was funny. So, like, every girl I dated could not stand who I was and what I wanted. It was so funny because, like, I spent, like, you know, I'm like a stupid one. Like, I spent a stupid amount of time living those lives. You know, don't get me wrong, like, it was fun, but, like, I spent so much of my life living someone else's life and being miserable. Like, not being happy with what I thought was good in life. Not being happy with what I thought was important in life. You know? Like, that's where, like, my misery came from, was like what I wanted in life, the people I wanted to be with, the person I wanted to be, the places I wanted to be. Every time I tried to have them, I never felt I deserved them, so I always felt like I had to have what other people wanted me to have and wanted me to do and things like that. And, like, don't get me wrong, like, I'm a rebellious motherfucker. So, like, when I tell you that I did what other people wanted, this is, you know, 10-20% of the time. The rest of the time, like, because I was unable to deal with who I wanted to be and live the life I wanted to live and value what I wanted to value, I would be stressed all the time. So I would always be, like, letting loose and getting loose, you know. And don't get me wrong, like, it was fun. Like, you know, from when I was 18 to when I was like 26, 27, like, all I did was party, like, drinking, like, you know, MD, shrooms, acid, like, you know, just having so much fun, doing so much stuff. Like, I lived to be in the rave, to be in the middle of the dance floor, fucking cooked as a chook, you know. And that was what was fun, and it was a wild time, you know. But the problem is like, yeah, I just, like, it was always like I was escaping. You know, like, it was fun to escape and let go of responsibility. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I worked and studied and built skills and I was very serious in my career, but, like, outside of my career, like, I just let go to responsibility, you know? And it's a hard thing to sort of come back from when you have to rebuild that discipline. And that's the thing, like, the career and life, like, I was so obsessed with money. because all I ever heard and all you ever saw from success was you had to be obsessed with money. So I had this negative attachment to money to where I was willing to do whatever it takes. I will break whatever relationship, like whatever it takes to achieve that. But the thing is inside, I didn't give a fuck. You know? Like, every time I succeeded was because I just enjoyed what I was doing and was having fun. That's the thing, that every time, you know, I would try and recreate that, I would always be misled into believing that I had to focus on money and focus on success, when in truth, all I focus on is just having fun. Because if you're having the time of your life and you're having a ball, like, everyone that comes into contact with you is going to be like, you lift their mood, so they're all of a sudden having an amazing time. They now associate that amazing time with you. So this is the thing I learned when I was like 18, when I was learning how to pick up. Like, let's just say when I was growing up, I did not care about girls. Like, up until I was like 17, 18, like, all I cared about was skating, riding, like, music, and playing video games. That was pretty much it. Like, that's all I did. And then one day, I don't know, like, I just started, and it used to be so funny, because yeah, I just, like, when I was in high school, man, I once had a girlfriend, and she sat next to me, and for 45 minutes I didn't say a word. I used to not be able to talk to girls. I couldn't talk to girls when I was younger, because, like, I can talk to a girl if it's just a girl, but if she's dating me, like, I didn't know, like, what was I meant to say? So I just, like, sit there quietly, and it used to be so funny. Because, like, yeah, it's just, I don't know. I didn't know how to react and stuff like that. So, like, when I was 16, 17, man, I was so awkwardly, like, it was funny. I was awkward. But, like, you know, like, girls would be, like, sending me signals and hitting on me, but, like, the way I put it is, like, you gotta, you know, you think of an airport like LAX, like, you gotta put those lights on high beam, like, you gotta pretty much, like, spell it out in a loud voice, in a megaphone, to get through to me. So, like, it always used to be so funny, because, like, my mates would see that the girls were into me, and then they'd hit on them. And because I didn't know, like, I wouldn't even notice, and then my mates would always be dating the girls that I liked. And I was like, dang it. And then, like, yeah, so when I was like 18, like, I had to teach myself, like, I wanted to learn how to pick up. Like, I wanted to be like a Casanova, you know, like a gentleman, you know, good with the ladies, like, have strong honor, you know, be charming, aesthetically pleasing, articulate, you know, like, cultured, well spoken, like a formidable person, someone that dominates any conversation they're in at will. So, like, yeah, so, like, in learning to pick up and stuff like that, like, I used to go out to the clubs, and for 2 years I just used to get drunk, and I just used to watch people pick up, and then I'd go and try things and all of this. And one of the funniest things I realized, in every situation, okay, what makes you attractive is your confidence, okay? And it's not so much your confidence in, oh, I'm the best looking person. No, your confidence in how good of a time you're having, and your confidence that, you know, you're enjoying yourself and you're enjoying the atmosphere and the time. So, you know, it's like if you can portray you are having the best time of your life and everyone around you is having an amazing time. So you're telling jokes, you're being, you're moving, you're not rigid, you're quite flexible, and you just chill, and you just chill in your own confident aura. That's the word, aura. And like it's the same in sales. So when you're having a good time, speak